This is big breaking emergency news. It is now spreading, and we are now getting a warning from the CDC itself about what is coming to the United States. And this is due partially to our open border, to our open U.S. southern border. A lot of these diseases and illnesses are now spreading. They are flaring up in South America, and they are now spreading into the U.S., and the CDC has issued a warning for it. All right, we are also seeing other diseases throughout the country. All right, we're seeing multiple different diseases right now spike, and we are also seeing the bubonic plague. The bubonic plague is now come back in the United States, and we are having cases of that as well. We're going to cover that. And we're also getting new diseases as well, entire new pox, right? We've had smallpox, monkeypox. Now there's a new one that they're reporting on as well. All these things are happening inside the United States, and you need to be getting prepared, and you need to be getting ready. And this stuff is potentially linked to our open U.S. southern border because people are not vetted. We are not sure who is coming over, and I'm not saying everyone, but potentially there are people coming over, and this could be contributing to these spikes we are seeing, and that's even what the CDC is warning of. All right, so let's get into what's going on, and this is a continual crisis every single day. Just to give you an update of what happened yesterday at the U.S. southern border, just the southern border, okay, because the northern border is actually getting hit very hard right now as well, and they are seeing hundreds of people cross every single day at the northern border too, sometimes thousands a day in the northern sectors. So just yesterday at the southern border, we had almost 7,000 migrant crossings according to Customs and Border Patrol. All right, almost 7,000 yesterday. That's what's being reported. And the main sectors that were being hit were Tucson, Arizona. They had over 2,500 apprehensions just yesterday. And it's also being reported now too that Indian reservations along the southern border are now being targeted because they have lower resources normally, and they have lower law enforcement personnel to defend against this. And they're saying that most of the quote gotaways are now crossing Native American Indian reservations. All right, and there's no border, and there's no wall at these reservations, a lot of them, and there is also no media allowed. All right, so this is what's also happening. They are taking advantage of the situation at these reservations on the border as well. So lots of big things are happening, and the CDC just warned that we are seeing a spread, and we're going to see a bigger spread in states like Florida, Texas, Arizona, and Southern California. They're warning that this year we're going to see a bigger spread in these states of these diseases. All right, and this is because of what's happening in South America. All right, potentially people are coming here, and this is potentially contributing to more spread of things like dengue fever. All right, so in Brazil right now, they are under a health emergency for dengue fever, and they're warning that this could be a health crisis for North America as well. It says Brazil's health ministry warns that it expects more than 4.2 million cases this year, outstripping the 4.1 million cases the Pan American Health Organization recorded for all 42 countries in the region last year. Right? So Brazil alone is outpacing 42 countries last year. So this is a big thing. This is a big surge in Brazil. And the CDC is warning of this as well. This is coming out of the New York Times. It says, in the United States, Dr. Gabriela Paz Bailey, chief of the dengue branch at the Division of Vector-Borne Diseases at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, said that she expects higher rates of dengue infections in Puerto Rico, this year, and that there would be more cases in the continental United States as well, especially in Florida, as well as Texas, Arizona, and Southern California. All right. This was the same article out of the New York Times. They are warning of this, as well as we see a surge in Brazil. Right. So this is happening, and this is a potentially fatal disease, and it's spread through mosquitoes, and mosquitoes can bite someone, and then they have the disease, and then a mosquito can bite them. Now a new mosquito is infected, and then this mosquito can go bite someone else and infect them. Right? So if there are thousands of people that have this and mosquitoes bite them in the US, all these mosquitoes now can potentially pick up this dengue fever and start biting other people and start spreading them. All right? And Brazil is actually doing genetic modification right now to prevent this as well. They are genetically modifying the gut bacteria and certain bacteria that are inside of certain mosquitoes that carry this disease to prevent them from spreading the disease. And we could potentially start seeing these similar programs in the US as well. Some states actually already do them, but we could see more stuff like this, genetic altering of mosquitoes, bugs, ticks. All this stuff is happening inside the United States as well, and we could see an increase of it. They're releasing these GMO mosquitoes all over Florida. We could see an increase. If we see an increase of these diseases, they could say, hey, we need to do this even more now, right? So also another thing to be on the lookout for. All right. We also have cases of the bubonic plague being reported, and we also have a case of reported called Alaska pox. All right. Something I've never heard of until today. When I was researching this, there's a new disease called Alaska pox as well that they are saying was just discovered recently. In the past few years, this disease was never even heard of until a few years ago. So all these new diseases are popping up somehow that we've never heard of, never seen in our lives, right? And now we're seeing the bubonic plague as well pop up inside of Oregon, actually in the same county that I was reporting on yesterday, in Deschutes County, Oregon, where they declared a state of emergency, one of the counties where they declared a state of emergency due to this border crisis and due to this illegal substance crisis and people dying all over the place and overdose and overwhelming their emergency systems. All right. I reported on that yesterday. Now it's being reported that Deschutes County, the same county in Oregon, southern Oregon, now has a case of the bubonic plague. So something's going on. You can't make this up. I was like, it's in Deschutes. This is a southern rural county in Oregon. So this is strange that this county is popping up again. And this is from the World Health Organization for the bubonic plague. It says, the plague can be a very severe disease in people with a case fatality ratio of 30 to 60% for the bubonic type. All right. And that's what this is. And is always fatal for the pneumonic kind when left untreated. Antibiotic treatment is effective against plague bacteria, so early diagnosis and early treatment can save lives. All right, that's a statement from the World Health Organization on the bubonic plague, right? That was posted a few years ago. So something's going on. And the official story that they're saying, oh, they probably just got it from their cat or from their pet, right? That's what they're saying. That's what the official narrative is being pushed in Oregon. Saying, nope, somebody got the plague from their cat. They probably dragged in a rat or something along those lines. But people get these rodent viruses all the time, like hantavirus, things like this pop up, which are rodent diseases as well. And I've cleaned out tons of, out west, there's rodents everywhere. They get in everything, rat poop everywhere. I've cleaned out houses that are just covered in it, all right? And you have to be careful. You have to wash your hands. You have to have open ventilation, all these things. But to see the plague popping up, bubonic plague, very specific and very strange that it's popping up out of nowhere in Deschutes County, Oregon. All right, we also have this other new disease that's popping up, and they're even admitting that this is a new disease that was just discovered a few years ago. All right, this disease was just discovered in 2015, and now we're seeing it pop up again in Alaska. All right, so all these new diseases coming out of nowhere. Right here, it says, man dies from mysterious, quote, Alaska pox disease. First ever victim of rare illness. So this man passed away from this. All right, this is not a joke. It says the first victim of Alaska pox lived in the woods on the Kenai Peninsula by himself. And it's unclear how he contracted the virus. All right, so he lives out in the middle of nowhere in Alaska by himself, and he's getting this Alaska pox too. Who knows? We really don't know what's going on and what's happening, where these things are coming from exactly. All right, there's all these different theories, all these different labs, all these experiments going on. I'm not saying that's what this is, but there's a lot of stuff going on inside the U.S. and outside internationally. And having our borders wide open, the Alaska border's open too. Every border, Canada's open. Everyone is wide open right now. This does not help, and this is not secure us to even track to find out where these things are coming from. All right, but you can see here it says in September the man noticed a tender red bump on his right armpit and was prescribed antibiotics. He said he was feeling fatigue and pain in his armpit and shoulder and was hospitalized in November. After he transferred, he complained of neuropathic type burning pain. Additional testing from the CDC revealed it was Alaska pox. He was only the 7th person confirmed to have ever had it. Right? Said he died from malnutrition and kidney and respiratory failure late last month. It's unclear how he got it. It's possible he contracted from a stray cat he has been caring for at his house. The cat was known to hunt other small mammals. All right, it tested negative for Alaska pox, but could have carried the virus in its claws. All right, so once again, they're saying it was a cat. Test negative, but they're saying that it could have dragged a rodent in or anything like that. All right, that's the official story. That's the official narrative here. But it's all just, it's strange that all these things are happening at the same time. All right, and the CDC, the New York Times, they're all warning that dengue fever is spreading, right? And it could come to the U.S., and it's most likely going to come to the U.S. in 2024 at increased levels. So please hit it up for me down there. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell, click all. I'm posting every single day. I'll keep you guys notified of what's going on in our country and what's going on at our border as well, because this is a crisis. This is a crisis, and this is a national security risk. This is a health risk. This is a economic risk. There are too many risk factors. No country in the history of the planet has ever had this policy of open borders and this open society where it's just we're not even a country really anymore. All right, we're just like an economic zone where anybody can come and go. Okay, that's what we are turning into, and it's eroding our U.S. national sovereignty. All right, and it's a national security risk as well. And just in fiscal year 2023, there were 24,000 Chinese migrants that crossed the U.S. border illegally in 2023. Right, more than 24,000. And the reason I always bring up China is because there's certain countries where you cannot leave the country. It's monitored. You are on a social credit system. They know where you're going, what you're doing, what you're spending your money on. They would not allow 24,000 people to just disappear into the United States and cross the border unless it was allowed to happen. All right, imagine if there's 24,000 people coming from like North Korea or something, any other country that you would think. 24,000 from Russia, 24,000 from Iran, 24,000. Any of these other countries, name any other country, and they're coming, but it's not as big as numbers, right? There's tens of thousands coming, and there was only 2,000 that came in 2022. 24,000 in 2023, 2,000 in 2022. There was only 342 in 2021, and it's making them the fastest growing demographic of illegal entries crossing our border. That's what's being reported from mainstream news, right? So that's why it's a national security risk as well, because this is being allowed to happen. This is being funded, and these foreign governments, and China especially, funds these illegal substances coming across our border. They fund and provide the base materials that are needed to create these illegal substances that are crossing every single day and causing these mass casualty events all throughout our country. In these cities, people are overdosing and keeling over every single day. All right, this is sad. This is a planned attack on our country, and it needs to be shut down. And now we also have a health risk as well. I reported on this maybe a month or two ago now, how there was a state, I can't remember, I think it was Illinois. Pretty sure it was Illinois. They issued a health alert saying that there was an outbreak of this certain disease within multiple, quote, migrant shelters inside of Illinois. And they're saying that it was spreading, and they were taking precautions, right? So this stuff's happening. This is happening. You need to be getting prepared. You need to be growing your own food. You need to be growing your own animals. All right, let me grab obligatory chick for you guys really quick, okay? Let me grab a girl for you guys. They were resting over here. This is what you need to be working on, though, every single day, is growing your own food and producing your own way, right? And providing your own value. So if it hits the fan, and that's what it's looking like, right? Our country can't absorb. Where's all this food coming from for tens of millions of more people? Where are all these housing, where are all the houses coming from? Where's it all coming from? There's not enough. Even if we were building 24/7, there's not enough. There's not enough. And you need to be able to step up and start growing your own food and producing your own way, right? We have a ton of chickens. We have a big garden going, right? And we're going to get even more going. 2024 is going to be a big year, and we're going to be grinding. So please hit it up for me down there, guys. Help get this warning out. People need to know about this. It's spreading, and it's being allowed to happen. It's being funded by our tax dollars, by your money. You pay the federal government, and then they give it away to do all these crazy things, right? And it needs to stop. And it's turning. The tide is slowly turning on this issue. The rhetoric is changing. Biden even admitted that he might have to take action himself, executive action, to fix this because things are so bad. All right, the tide is turning. They know that this isn't sustainable, and it's a bad look. It's a bad look, and this isn't good for anybody. So keep your foot on the gas. Keep sharing this stuff. Keep putting out your own warnings and telling people that you know what's going on. And the tide can change. The tide can turn. All right, so thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.